Okay, let me introduce Gaurav Sawant, who is joining us live right now from Paris. We also have Neha, who's getting us the latest updates on the Bastille Day parade. Gaurav, it looks like the ceremony, the parade has officially come to an end. What a beautiful, lovely ceremony with so much symbolism involved, because it also highlights, not just France's history, not just France's culture, but the fact that the Prime Minister was there, put the focus firmly on Indo-French culture, on Indo-French ties and the relationship.
You're absolutely right. The song that was playing out just a short while back was a song of resistance of the Second World War, of songs how France resisted Hitler's advance, how people of France always stood for liberty, and this inspires them. A letter was read out, once again a letter of resistance that inspired the nation. Right now it's the French national anthem that is being played out, and that will mark the official closure of the Bastille Day parade, but a parade which was huge in size and symbolism. Symbolism also because Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the guest of honor. The Indian contingent, it got a thunderous applause when the Punjab regiment and the Rajputana Rifles regiment, the Indian Navy and the Air Force, they marched past the saluting dais. They got a standing ovation. Of course, that standing ovation remained for every other marching contingent that followed. But there's another ceremony for the Punjab regiment at Rafale, the place where those sacrifices were made by the Punjab regiment braves. So right now it's the French national anthem again that inspires the country to go on. So this marks the official conclusion of the Bastille Day parade, and our soldiers, the Indian Army soldiers, will now travel to Rafale, where those sacrifices were made in the Second World War. They will be felicitated by the mayor of that city. They will be felicitated by the people of that city. Remember, an Indian Navy ship, the stealth destroyer INS Chennai, has also berthed at the port here at Brest, and that again is a very important signal that India is sending out, and France, the two navies operating together in the Indian Ocean region, in the Indo-Pacific region. So this trip, while you see a lot of symbolism, you also saw France displaying its latest armored fighting vehicles, its latest tanks, its latest weapons on display here on Champs-Élysées. And the message very simply was, all of this is to protect peace, to protect liberty, and for friends. Now this is very, very important as we move forward. So I'll once again, so there's a hymn, so that is playing out.
Gaurav, I'll give you that moment. I'll give you a second, because I think there's a hymn that's playing out. So Gaurav, as a mark of respect, we'll just have to stay quiet for just a bit. He'll stay silent. We'll go back to him in just a bit for more insight, really, on this particular parade. Neha is also with us, tracking the latest. Neha, that moment of the 269-member Indian Tri-Service Contingent marching down the streets of Paris there, again a moment that none of us will forget. It was wonderful to see how, the Indian troops for the last few days have been rehearsing, mingling, being a part of the French National Day celebrations.
Exactly, it was a fantastic experience, and someone needs to be here to feel the vibes, to feel the excitement of the Indian people as well as the French nationals as well. I was here among the people, and there were so many people from so many countries who participated.
We seem to have lost the connection with Neha. We'll just reconnect with her in just a bit. These are live images coming in, the moment of silence being observed there at the parade venue. beautiful ceremony. They're soaked in tradition, soaked in culture. As you can see, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on your screens now. Live images coming in. The Prime Minister standing right next to French President Macron. Let's cut across live to what's happening.
तो ये सीधी तस्वीरें आप देख रहे हैं पेरिस से, जहां बास्टिल डे परेड भव्य आयोजन हम सभी ने देखा। बहुत ही दिव्य, बहुत ही भव्य संगीत में प्रस्तुति।
So as we get these latest images, Gaurav, are these war veterans that Prime Minister Modi and President Macron are interacting with?
राष्ट्रपति एमैनुअल मैक्रोन ये उन लोगों से मुलाकात करते
Absolutely
हुए
right. The Prime Minister and the French President, they're meeting the Second World War resistance leaders. The Second World War veterans who are there, and a grateful France is paying its respects to the braves of the Second World War. There are other leaders of resistance whose poetry was read out, whose letters to their family, that one letter was read out in terms, and I've got a rough translation, through a colleague here who said that this letter, this resistance was all about standing up to Hitler's Germany, to oppression, and not ever give up on the ideal of peace, liberty and fraternity. Right now the Prime Minister and the French President will also look at, now this is the French Army Choir. They are reciting, singing those hymns, and there's also a crest of every battleship, every port that's there. That's also, the French President is explaining that to the Indian Prime Minister about how France has carried out this journey all along. It's on the basis of the strength of the people. Remember, this was something that Prime Minister Narendra Modi also referred to in his community address yesterday, when the Prime Minister spoke of the French national anthem, and the French national anthem, telling the people of France to continue to march on, continue their march constantly, protecting the ideals of peace, liberty and fraternity. And he said, in India, we follow the same principle from ancient times, from the holy Vedas, which tells us charai vaiti, chalte raho. Now there's another point that the Prime Minister raised yesterday at the community event, and we are told once again, as you well know, it is India's motto at the G20 is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world is one family. That's again a principle that the Prime Minister is talking about. Two powerful democracies that stand for peace and liberty and democracy, carrying forward this idea, this thinking of the entire world being one family. Now the Army Choir, the images that you see on your television screens is of this Army Choir. It's marching out with names and crests of those who've made the supreme sacrifice. And you have members of the French Army, the French Navy, the French Air Force, police and other forces that are a part of this Armed Forces Choir, Akshita.